Hi, Connor. Connor, how much of playoff success is players getting out of their comfort zones, and what are some of the things that you specifically might have to do, perhaps more of that you wouldn't be as focused on in the regular season?
Well, I think for the teams that haven't started yet, it's pretty easy to figure that out just watching some of the games this week. You see guys playing hard, finishing checks, blocking shots. Doing all those little things that make you successful this time of year.
And give me a sense of, the Jets have been known, not just this year, but over the last few years, for having a pretty deep forward core and being, having a variety of guys who can do a variety of different things. Give me a sense of how they play as a group up front and the things that make them deep.
Well, I mean, obviously they got good players. That's what makes a team deep. Up front they're as deep as anyone in the league, and for us to be successful against the Jets, we got to check. We got to be hard on them, hard on their skilled guys. Not let them generate the speed they want to. You hear lots of them talking about they got to shut us down, but we got to shut them down, and their transition game is as good as anyone, and they got a great power play. So, for us, discipline's important. Um, Making sure that we're able to stay on top of them and not turning pucks over.
Reiner Shog, TSN.
Connor, last time around, you guys came out and played in an empty building, kind of for the first time, and I know all the teams were doing that, and there were varying results in terms of guys kind of rising to that moment, even without the fans. You've played a whole year now. Does that feel more normal, and are you confident your group will be able to sort of rise to the emotional moment that the playoffs should bring?
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're going to be able to do it. We've played 56 games now in front of no fans, and we've had moments where our team has played some of our the best hockey that I've been a part of here. So obviously we're missing our fans a lot. It's tough to see some of these games down south where fans are going crazy and the building looks pretty packed. Obviously we miss that a lot, and we know our fans would be going nuts this time of year, but it's we feel their support and need to rise to the occasion whether they're in the building or not.
How do you think your team has grown the most in the last 10 months as a group?
I would say, yeah, that's a good question. I think obviously we're defending better, playing harder, probably just a little more mature. I think that's the main thing is guys are just starting to figure out this game and figure out what it takes to win and how hard it is, and the sacrifices that you have to do to make that happen.
Rob Chichkowski, Post Media.
From an experience perspective, what do you remember about the 2017 run? And is there anything that you guys can draw from that, the players that were there, that can help you this year?
Well, I mean, obviously, you look back then. I think the thing you remember is the fans and how amazing the fans were, and how fun it was to play in this building. Obviously, that's not going to be the case this go around. I think just how intense the hockey is, how important each and every play is. Each and every little mistake matter, and the team that can stay even keeled the best, is usually the more successful team. So. There's we don't have a ton of playoff experience, obviously, but we can certainly draw on that experience.
Back then, you and Darnell and Leon were like 22, 23 years old. Now you're obviously in a very different place as players and leaders. What impact do you think that would have, just the experience that sort of the core of this group has now?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I kind of forgot the question there. Go say that again for me.
1 second. Sorry, Titch, go ahead.
That's okay. He muted me, so I couldn't ask right away.
Sorry.
back then you guys were 22, 23 years old. Now you're much older and much more experienced in a different place. How does that experience from the core players, serve your team well heading into this year's playoffs?
Well, I think like you said, I mean, experience is important, and this isn't it's not like it's our first playoff game. I mean, we certainly haven't played a ton, but we have that experience to draw on. We have our experience from the bubble last year, and how quickly a series can turn on you. All good experiences, and we've learned lots of lessons, but it's time to put those lessons to good use.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Let me follow up on that then. So you say, Connor, you have learned lots of lessons and time to put them to use. Is it feel like the start of something here? Like you guys made the playoffs in 2017 and then fell out for a couple of years. It was a bit of a false, I don't know what it was. It didn't turn out to be what we thought it was. You had a good team last year. You kind of got robbed of the playoffs with the whole pandemic thing. Now you're back. You got a good team. You're a second place team in the division. You're ready to do something here. Does this feel, like the start of something good here?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we whatever last year was, I would consider us a playoff team last year, bubble or not. I mean, it's still a playoff series, and obviously back in the playoffs this year. So, playoffs back-to-back years is it's obviously that that's the start of something. I mean, the teams that win are the teams that get in each and every year, and I think for us. We can't look past a very, very good Winnipeg team. I mean, they're going to bring so many challenges, and we got to be ready for them.
Okay, so we're all out on this side of the camera trying to make our predictions and all that. We base it off of how the series went this year, largely how Edmonton and Winnipeg played head to head. How much should we base off of that? I mean, you beat them 7-2 in games. You won 6 straight. What's that worth coming into this series?
Well, it's worth absolutely nothing ultimately. The regular season's done, and that season series is done, and now it's a race to 4, and that's all that matters. I think it's such a different game, and we got to be ready right away.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Connor. I know throughout the year this year, there was some frustration with the hooking and holding and interfering and how teams try to make life generally difficult for you. But saying that now going into the playoffs where sometimes, blind eyes turn to more hooking and holding and letting teams play through that, is that actually, do you think is going to help you and some of the other guys having been used to that throughout the regular season?
I think... the hooking and the holding and the hold-ups and all that stuff are things that I've dealt with, my whole life. So it's nothing new. It's not going to be any different in the playoffs. So, it's something, like I said, that I've dealt with anywhere I've played, and something that isn't an issue.
And throughout the first couple games in the other series here, they've been close. I think there's 4 or 5 games have gone in overtime already. There's a theory that the teams have played each other so much that they're so close and they know each other so well. That's why these games are kind of close and going into overtime. Do you subscribe to that? Was there a different feeling going in? You've played the Jets 9 times, which is something that probably wouldn't happen going into a playoff series, having played that team that often.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know the other team's game at this point, I'm not sure you're ever going to figure it out. So, we've played them 9 times. We got a pretty good idea of what they like, of what they're trying to do, of personnel, obviously. So, you've definitely seen close games here at the start of the playoffs, and I would think that you're going to see the same thing in the Canadian division as it gets going here this week.
Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Connor, you mentioned, last year was playoffs, and you scored in the first game, I think 2.5 minutes in. Archibald scored like your first shift, 45 seconds in game 4. You guys didn't win those games like that. You guys were very disappointed. How much of a learning experience, as much as it sucked at the time, because lots of teams have been like you guys, where you lost a series that you felt like you shouldn't have. how has that fueled you even now, almost 10 months later?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a motivating factor for our group all season long, and you know, a lot was made about the bubble last year. I think we obviously didn't put our best foot forward and didn't get the result we wanted. You know, like I alluded to earlier, we've learned lots of lessons with this group over the time I've been here, but it's time to put those to work. I mean, you know, you got to do something with those lessons at some point.
And no one really has to usually sit for 4 days while you watch, the other playoffs. Has that been good or bad? Like, are you just chomping at the bit to get out there? Is it even more painful? Like, are you just more excited? How does it work? Because usually you'd be playing by now in a normal playoff.
Yeah, I think it's just added to the excitement. The games have been great. They've been so fun to watch, and yeah, definitely can't wait to get out there.
Gene Principe, Sportsnet. Come back to you in a second, Gene. Oh,
Sorry,
you got you.
hi, Connor.
Yep.
Sorry, do you have me?
Yep, gotcha.
Sorry about that. Connor, just two questions. First one is, can you describe you and, all the players have always dealt with pressure to get to this point in your careers. Can you describe if there's more pressure, or just how you kind of gauge how the team is feeling heading into these playoffs?
Obviously, there's more pressure in playoff games, but we've like I said, we've been here before. This isn't our first playoffs. Of course. I mean, there's always going to be pressure in certain situations, and we've dealt with that. And getting here. So, that doesn't change. Doesn't change anything.
And just a quick follow-up. Everyone
Can't
You're a
really.
little muffled.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear you there.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better, not great.
I'm just going to try and move somewhere quieter. Sorry.
There it is.
Any
That's
better?
better.
Yeah, you're good
Okay.
there.
Sorry, guys. It's kind of an obvious question, but everyone has spoken about your motivation. You got lots of points and trophies and all that. Can you just put into your own words how motivated you are, how much you want to win in the playoffs, and ultimately get to the goal of winning a cup?
I mean, as motivated as you can be, I guess. I'm as, obviously that's the ultimate goal, and all those other things don't really mean anything unless you win. So that's always what I've wanted to do, and have an opportunity here with this group to play a good Jets team and go from there.
Jack Michael, 630 Chad.
Connor, you were talking about the maturation of the hockey club over the last year. Has it been nice, obviously not under optimal circumstances, but has it been nice in some ways to have that maturation develop without anyone else in your locker room for the last year except for players, trainers, and coaches?
Are you asking about the media not coming in, or what?
Yeah, I mean, is it nice to some degree to kind of go through this year together without anyone from the outside right there?
Well, we certainly miss the fans in the building. That's one. Do I miss the media coming in the room? Not as much as I miss the fans, that's for sure. But it's been nice to come in and come to work every day, and know that it's just the guys in there, and you can be yourself and work towards something special, kind of together.
And secondly, I'm not sure whether you're aware that an article came out to you today about you today in terms of some adjustments you made in the offseason. And I was just curious, when you search for improvements in your game in an offseason, is it self-critique? Is it coaches or other observers pointing things out to you? What's the combination there when you try to improve certain areas of your game from season to season?
I mean, the best judge of your game is yourself, and you know what you need to do, and where your game needs to grow. And you know, it's no secret. My game obviously has always needed to be better defensively, better on faceoffs, just harder to play against. You know, I think offensively, I've never had too much of an issue, and you know, so for me, obviously, just focusing on becoming that more 200-foot player is obviously what I focus on.
Max Boltman, The Athletic.
Hey, Connor, a little off topic here, so I'm sorry, but I'm in Detroit, and I wanted to write about Sam Gagner. I know he wasn't with the Oilers when you broke into the league, but I think you guys maybe share an agent. Just curious, did he make any kind of impact on you as a young player?
Yeah, Gags is someone that you know, I used to skate with even before I was in junior. So we go back a long ways, and you know, to go from that and to be his teammate for a time was fun. You know, he's a great guy, and you know, someone that has definitely taught me a lot about just, you know, being a pro, being a professional, just seeing how well he takes care of himself. So you know, I'm happy that he was able to find some success there in Detroit.
I'm just curious because that's a really young team, and they're still kind of trying to find their way there. I'm curious what kind of perspective and help he can be to especially a really young locker room with a lot of guys kind of finding their legs in the NHL.
I think for Gags, you know, he's kind of always been a part of a younger team, and for whatever reason, and you know, he's such a great guy to learn from as a young guy in this league, just from how well he carries himself, how well he, you know, he you know, he's got everything dialed in, really, you know, from diet to training to everything, you know, you name it, he's the ultimate pro. So, you know, if you're a young guy coming in this league, there's no better guy to learn off of than a guy like that.
Thanks very much, Connor.